Thank you very much. Thank you. 5 minutes, yeah? Yeah, that's a rule. I love rules. It's important. I work in financial services compliance. So, yeah. God, woo! I know. And you know what? It's fascinating. So if anyone wants to talk to me about it afterwards, just stop me. I do. I love it so much. And it's kind of... I mean, I didn't grow up loving rules and boundaries and stuff, but it is something I've grown to love. And I find a lot of my life's influenced by it. So I didn't grow up I don't think people are born compliant. I think it's something we're taught. We're taught to understand rules and boundaries, and it's something I certainly like to pass on to my niece and nephews. And I think they enjoy it. And certainly when I go around to babysit, there's a hell of a lot of screaming when I get there, which is really nice. And I said to them the other week, actually, gosh, can you calm down? They were getting a little bit overexcited, and I said, calm down. Let's have a nice, quiet game of hide and seek. Because who doesn't love a nice game of hide and seek? It's a game that all the family can play. They lost 3 times. I know. They absolutely failed to spot the Austrian composer amongst the pictures of all the German composers. I know, they're not very bright, but they are disciplined. And so 6:30, they went straight upstairs to bed. They didn't need asking twice. Their bedtime's 8 o'clock. So I thought that was great, and I rewarded them, and I said, I'm going to read you a story. And I just wanted to explain to you what I did, actually, because I thought, God, children's books, there's a lot more to them. You don't realise when you're a child just how... they're not great, to be honest. I read them... You'll recognise this one, I think. It's 3 Little Pigs. And... I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't read it, but it's about 3 little pigs. And one of them builds a house from straw, one from sticks, and one from bricks. And I thought I'd better have a quick look through just to make sure it's suitable. You don't want to sort of read something that isn't suitable. And I'm really glad I did, because it says on the front, right, it says it's an easy reading book. Well, let me tell you, for someone who works in compliance, this is not easy reading. Just by way of example, yeah, I don't know if you can see this, but can anyone spot the floor in this picture? It's Greenbelt. You don't build houses on Greenbelt. Greenbelt is there to prevent urban sprawl. Not only that, but 2 little pigs die. So I'm kind of got some health and safety concerns. And I thought, actually, I don't want to read it to them until I've made just a few little amendments. So I'll just share it with you, actually, because you might want to try something similar. So I'll read it to you as it's rewritten. It's quite subtle, so see if you can spot the difference. Excuse me a second. That's a little bit high. See if I can work the microphones now. Yes. Maybe not. Should be a procedure for that. So let me read this to you. So you're comfortable? Okay. The 3 little property developers. Because you've got to be honest from the start. They're not pigs. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a mother property developer who had 3 little property developers. The 3 little property developers grew so big that their mother said to them, "You're too big to live here any longer. You must go and build houses for yourselves. But take care that Mr. Wolf, the building inspector, doesn't catch you." Because that's what he was. First of all, they identified a brownfield site, building on which would enhance the local area and cause no damage to indigenous flora and fauna. The first little property developer decided to build his house from straw. Yeah. Straw, said the second little property developer. Straw has to be fire retardant per Part 7 of the 2010 building regulations. Plus, you'll have to have specialist insurance. It'll cost you a packet. I'm making mine from sticks, boasted the second little property developer. Sticks, scoffed the third little property developer. Can you be sure they come from sustainable forests? and that all the small creatures who live in the woodland won't lose their habitat, and through a chain of dependency that you don't cause irrevocable damage to the finely balanced ecosystem and leads to the ultimate destruction of all life on the planet. It's very current. I just thought I'd bring it up to date, you know. I'm going to build my house from bricks, said the third little property developer. And because he made such a good business case, they all made their houses from bricks. And they made them all look exactly the same as each other and every other new house that was being built in the area. I won't read all of it, but yeah, I mean, there's a bit of paperwork, obviously. You have to go. There's another bit of paperwork there. And there was a section on groundwater drainage. That's common, so I thought I'd add that in. So often causes problems. And a little bit on social housing, because sometimes you have to build a little bit of an extra small house on the side. I'll just skip to the end just so you can see what happens, because I know you're all a bit excited. And let's turn to that last page. Hope it's there. Oh, there it is. And Mr. Wolf, the building inspector, finally agreed that their houses were fit for habitation, and they all got their NHBC certificates. And they all lived. Happily ever after. It just says they all lived. So actually, it's not quite had the same effect. The kids all went off to sleep like that, and you seem a little bit awake. So I'm just going to say really quietly, night, and I'll see you again soon.